to the junkets, 8 in each day. And that was kind of tough, doing 8 interviews in one day, believe me when I tell you that. But at any rate, they arranged it with their stars.
Welcome to Star Talk with Ann Colone. This morning, Ann interviews more of your favorite CBS series stars. Now, here's Ann.
Thank you, Dan, and hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us for another session of Star Talk.
Well, Andy, in addition to playing an instrument, you're a great singer, too.
No, I'm not a great singer.
Yes, as a matter of fact, now, your biography says that you wanted to go into opera.
I did, but I've told this joke on myself a lot of times, and it's true. I went off to an audition one time as a singer, and guess what I sang? Dancing in the Dark. And after it was over, now my wife, she sang something like, she sang In the Still of the Night, and she was the only one there that did get to sing all the way through. It was a big open audition, about 225, 50 people. After it was over, the fellow told me, he says, you didn't sing too good. Said, your voice is over brilliant, almost unpleasantly so. And I started telling jokes right that minute.
When you write a play, do you have someone in mind to do the roles as you're writing it? Or does that come much later for you?
Don't Drink the Water was written for, I wrote it specifically for Lou Jacoby and Kay Medford, because Lou is one of the funniest men that I've ever seen. Lou originally played the father in Come Blow Your Horn on Broadway and was sensational, and Kay Medford played the mother in Bye Bye Birdie. And the two of them were both such standouts in those shows that I thought to combine them as a husband and wife in that situation would be funny. So I wrote it for them.
And so we'd go on these TV junkets, and I loved it because as we're waiting, you had a chance to listen to other people interviewing. And some of the questions were so trivial. And then Ann would come, and she would get down to the core of things.
In your youth, as I understand, you had a severe problem, stammering, stuttering.
I still do, yes. I am a stutterer. Have been since the age of 8. Oddly enough, the move from the south to the north. I was born in Mississippi and raised in Michigan. That move was traumatic for me. You'd think that a young black person would say, well, the promised land. No, for me, it was an uprooting.
She researched heavily. I know she spent weekends just going through. She would come into work on Mondays. You'd see her come walking in. She'd just have stack of things.
But when you and I constantly discuss contemporary events in terms of wars and riots and dollars with cancer and race restiveness and ugliness, when it's the exceptional, the misfit, the offbeat, the demagogue which preoccupies the front page, then it's not a proper reflection of our America the Beautiful. It's a funhouse mirror.
I wanted to know as much as I possibly could about the person and or the subject matter. And of course, there was plenty I had to learn to misunderstand. But I'd give it a lot of thought.
What traits and or talents would you say one must possess to be a good actor or actress?
Well, I think first of all one must have the talent to act. But the thing that one must have if one wants to be in the theater is the ability and the desire and the passion to work.
Cliff, it's very obvious to me that one of your favorite subjects at the moment, and probably will be for a couple of months to come, is a movie called J.W. Coop, which you wrote, directed, produced, in which you star, and what is it all about?
Well, what's J.W. Coop all about?
Yeah, right.
It's about all of us. It's a story about a rodeo cowboy and his attempts to catch up with the lost decade. But in that story, we can all identify because we're all involved in what's happening to all of us, which is change.
And knew how and what questions to ask when to get a response, make a smooth interview, no matter whether they were tired, they were grumpy, she could pull it off.
Bob Hope and I were just talking about the I think the last trip to Fort Wayne that you made, Bob, was one of the first acts to open our Coliseum there.
That's right. That's right, with Marilyn Maxwell, wasn't it?
Right.
Right.
And you packed them in, all 10,000 seats, and there's been only one other person to do that in the past 10 or 12 years, and that's been Liberace. When you come
Well, we work alike, Liberace and I.
Hey.
We do.
You plan on coming back soon?
Oh, I hope so. Listen, invite me.
And he knew a couple of people in Fort Wayne, which helped a great deal. He liked Fort Wayne. Of course, he played the Coliseum, and the place was jammed.
And, you know, and I go back a little with the Amboy Theater there. Years ago, it was sort of a stepping stone for me when I was on my way up.
The
I
Amboy
stayed there
Theater, yeah.
as master of ceremonies for 4 weeks, and got me a little bread when I needed it.
Do you care to say how many years ago that was?
It was a few. It was a few. I know that Crosby was going west on the original wagon train at the time.
That long ago.
Thank you, Mary Tyler Moore. Thank you. Mary Tyler Moore. Sure. And Ed Asmus.
It's a great pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One reason I have to go back right away is I'm designing a dress for Elizabeth Taylor, who's going to present one of the big major awards.
Can you tell us anything about it?
It is soft, chiffony, floaty, beautiful, long, clear of the floor, and very simple. No beads, no feathers, no lace, no trimming, no nothing. Just a beautiful dress, very soft. It's the return, I think, of what I call pretty clothes rather than flamboyant, knock-em-dead street clothes. She's so beautiful, she doesn't need street clothes.
Anybody else?
I'm working with Myrna Loy, Catherine Ross, a whole group of the girls.
My goodness, the background of that woman. How many stars she's clothed, so to speak. And I think also I was getting a little hung up on hems going up and down and up and down. Just trying to be clear out of my mind.
You know why I'm perturbed, Edith? Because they no sooner get them up than they're bringing them down again. Well, that's going to cost me dough and a lot of inconvenience at the same time.
Well, don't you think it's good? It's a good way to help the financial condition of the world.
Maybe some of our gals can't afford these changes like that.
Do what I do.
What do you do?
Wear short dresses for a while.
Yeah?
Don't go home and burn your clothes.
Right.
Don't stay home. And when fall comes with longer dresses, try one and see what happens.
Try one.
What do you like to do for entertainment, Trudy?
Oh, have a couple of friends in.
Oh, serious night clubbing or anything like
Oh, God, no, I can't go to a nightclub. I don't smoke, and the atmosphere in a nightclub that's just my idea of agony, of hell, of torture, to have to sit in a room full of smoke like that. However, if Jimmy Durante's playing, or Ella Fitzgerald, I will make the exception. I went with Robert Morley. Robert Morley, who's become a very close friend of mine.
Is that right?
I made this movie with him in England, and he was in New York about 2 weeks ago, and Jimmy Durante was playing. He said, "Oh, we've got to go see old Schnauzola."
You are billed as a grand old man of show business, but I can truthfully say this, Jimmy, that while watching you in the press conference a few minutes ago, you may be a little older than some people in years, but your heart is very, very young indeed. That must be a real policy with you, right, sir?
Yes, because, and that's why I love the lyrics to a song which I do in the act, and of which I just put in an album I just made for Warner Brothers called September Song. There's a song called Young at Heart.
Oh, that's a lovely tune.
And I think it's one of the greatest lyrics ever written. So true, you know. It's not how old you are. It's just how you feel.
I think I asked him about his nose. I don't know whether I should have done that. Anyway.
I would think that the word retirement is not in your vocabulary.
No.
And in so thinking, I wish you would pass along some advice to some of the senior citizens who might be watching concerning your theories of older age and working and what have you.
Well, I don't believe in complete retirement, and I wouldn't want to retire completely unless, you know, God forbid, I was ill or something, couldn't work. I do a lot of different things, keeps me interested. Now, I imagine if I were in a business selling neckties, I think I'd want to retire.
You know that. He's great.
You've interviewed so many people, as you say.
All right.
You know, there just aren't too many left that you have not interviewed. Does this discourage you in future shows coming?